The Krogan are a hardy, proud, warrior reptilian race, often found wandering the galaxy serving as mercenaries or pirates. Once their civilization amounted to more than just primitive warfaring, but by the events of Mass Effect 1 their numbers are dwindling, and it seems like the Krogan are well on their way to extinction. Why is a story that begins over 1,000 years prior, and to understand it we need to go all the way back to when the Krogan first set foot on the galactic scene. So join us, as in today's video we're going to be looking at the Genophage, and of course the Krogan rebellions that led up to it, and the Rachni Wars that led up to that. At this point, it's all of Krogan history, with a lot of tail-end emphasis, so I think I'll just figure out the title later. Over millions of years, the Krogan evolved on a rather unforgiving planet, which transformed them into quintessential survivors. Physically, they're near enough indestructible. They have tough hides impervious to many melee weapons, wide-set eyes that allow them 240 degrees vision, making it hard to get the drop on them. Duplicates for every major organ, making sustained damage to any one organ far less lethal. And an electrically conductive second circulatory system rather than a nervous system, which means a Krogan can never be paralyzed. They can feel pain, but it doesn't prevent them from concentrating. Throughout the galaxy, they're feared as bloodthirsty warriors and violent brutes, as their bodies are so naturally suited to warfare, and that's all their culture has been reduced to. However, ancient Krogan society used to be so much more. It used to be rich with cultural, architectural, and artistic accomplishments. However, the Krogan birth rate skyrocketed upon reaching industrialization, quickly exceeding what Tuchanka could provide for. Advancements in technology made life a little too easy for the Krogan, bringing their gaze to new challenges. Each other. Around 4,000 years before the events of the Mass Effect trilogy, the Krogan's skirmishes for life-sustaining territory came to a head, erupting into a full-scale global war. The use of nuclear weapons transformed Tuchanka into a radioactive wasteland, one that could barely sustain life. This reduced Krogan society to primitive warring clans, which is how their society stayed for the next 2 millennia, which is when they were discovered by the Salarians. The Salarians culturally uplifted the Krogan, giving them advanced tech and moving them to a world they hadn't destroyed. They even erected the Shroud on Tuchanka to help stabilize the atmosphere, which will come back into play later on. However, this cultural uplifting was not an act of benevolence. Citadel Space found itself to be at war with the Rachni, an intelligent and highly aggressive spacefaring insect-like race. The Salarians hoped the Krogan would help and serve as soldiers in this war, which is exactly what they wound up doing. The rapidly breeding Krogan had the numbers to not only drive back the Rachni, but to then pursue them to the Rachni worlds, find the queens, and seemingly eradicate the entire species. For a short period of time, the Krogan were hailed as saviors. They were granted planets in Citadel Space to colonize, as well as the conquered Rachni worlds, but without the harsh conditions of their homeworld to keep their numbers from exponentially growing out of control, their population did just that. Their planets soon became overcrowded and were running out of resources. The Krogan began to forcibly claim other planets, even those already claimed by other races that were loyal to the Citadel and Council. As they forcibly occupied the Asari colony of Lucia, the Council ordered them to leave. Overlord Kredak, the Krogan ambassador on the Citadel, simply dared the Citadel races to take their worlds back, thus beginning the Krogan rebellions, which lasted 3 centuries. At first, the Citadel's newly founded Special Tactics and Reconnaissance Unit, also known as the Spectres, dealt crippling blows to Krogan infrastructure, and the Krogan faced massive losses. But due to how quickly the Krogan can reproduce, their population was still steadily on the rise, and Krogan victory seemed only a matter of time. The Council, not ready to be overrun by the angry frog people, turned to the Turians, newcomers to Citadel Space. These newcomers had a militaristic culture, and as a result of that, they also had a massive fleet. The Turians were successful in besting many Krogan bands, and before long, Krogan were attacking Turian worlds as well, some of which they hurled asteroids into and rendered totally uninhabitable, which will later prove itself to be a big mistake. See, to understand the militaristic culture of the Turians a little bit more, it's worth noting that they don't simply defeat their enemies, they also seek to prevent them from becoming a threat in future. And the Krogan had just given every Turian a million reasons to unite against them. Understanding that no matter how many attacks they successfully carried out, the Krogan would not surrender, and that they couldn't kill the Krogan as fast as they could reproduce, the Turians contacted the Salarians, who had been engineering a powerful bioweapon called the Genophage. The Genophage's goal was to reduce the Krogan numbers by infecting the species with a genetic mutation, which reduced the viability of pregnancies in Krogan females. Initially, it was developed by the Salarians to only function as a deterrent, believing the genophage to be far too devastating to actually use. However, upon its completion, the Turians immediately utilized it, dispensing it from the Shroud. STG agents also sabotaged the Shroud on Tuchanka so that it couldn't be used to disseminate a cure, and would later use it for any readjustments to prevent the Krogan from naturally overcoming their affliction. And every cell in every Krogan's body was afflicted, so gene therapy couldn't be used to find a cure. The genophage didn't function by reducing the fertility of Krogan females, but rather the probability of viable pregnancies. And so many Krogan would be stillborn, as the fetus's nervous systems had been prevented from developing. And thus the viability of Krogan pregnancies dropped to around 1 in 1,000. The genophage wasn't designed to make the Krogan sterile, but its effect combined with the Krogan tendency to violence and killing each other, and disinterest in focused breeding, left the Krogan a dying race. This had an impact on Krogan society. Females who could carry viable pregnancies became prizes, and clans used fertile females as bargaining chips to attract allies, and it even affected Krogan mentality, many knowing that their species will soon be extinct, giving many Krogan very fatalistic views. And they were even more so formidable one-on-one opponents as they now had nothing to lose. They're dangerous opponents due to their indifference to everything around them. They don't care what they attack or what they kill, what risks they may have to take or the consequences. Why? Because the way they see it, they're already doomed. Some Krogan groups did invest in companies to tried to discover a cure for the genophage, however progress there is stunted by the lack of Krogan scientists and disinterest from the rest of the galactic community to find a cure for the Krogan. As for attempts to rebuild the species through focused breeding, as I mentioned before, the hostile nature of the Krogan make that an uphill battle, and many are simply not interested anyway. And even then the Krogan are simply far too disorganized for that to be a viable solution. Regardless, the Krogan still hold deep resentment for both the Turians and Salarians for committing what they deem to be genocide against their people, which is the position we find the Krogan in at the beginning of Mass Effect 1. Thus concluding today's video. Was the genophage the only way to stop the Krogan from overrunning the entire galaxy? Was it ethical? An interesting moral discussion for people who are into Mass Effect lore like that for sure. Anyway, thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff. That would be super fantastic. And be sure to check out the Twitch content as well. We're doing some super cool streams over there, and we're heading into the business end of Mass Effect 3 in the Legendary Edition now. Sorry it's taking so long, but I want to actually play through the 3 games before I actually got around to doing my review for the remaster. And with any luck, I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video at some point, but until next time, take care and goodbye.